Going live on mine.
And we are live. Happy Thursday, job snatchers and career BFFs. I told you guys I had heavy hitters this week, and I get to talk with Anna Morgan, your career BFF. I'll let her do her intro.
Hey, good people. I'm Anna Morgan, your career BFF. I am a recruiter, talent acquisition consultant, and job search strategist. I help preferably the talent, HR, and related job seekers fast track opportunities with modern day job search um, innovative tools, which we're going to pull the curtain back today and talk a little bit about. So I'm super excited to be here with my now long term friend, the one and only resume snatcher, finesser, Miss Jessica. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. I've been so excited for this because I've been watching you for a long time, of course, right? And we chit chat.
Likewise.
And the one thing we both have in common is we do not have your run of the mill ordinary strategies for our clients.
Right.
That's what I absolutely adore. And as the climate continues to change in this job market, I want to make sure that I pick your brain and get some good insight for our people to understand how to approach this job search, this job snatch, and still
This
be competitive.
landscape, landmines, like all the
It's a
crazy.
landmine.
One day it's hot, one day it's not. It's confusing out there, and
It's
there is
hard.
a lot of misinformation and bad content out there that is confusing job seekers. I was talking to a new client the other day, and I was explaining what the big white whale mystery of the applicant tracking system is, and she just looked at me and she goes, I feel like I've been bamboozled. I just wanted to like reach through the screen and hug her because if she feels that way, how many other people feel that way? And I was literally just telling her that their ATS systems are not built to reject you. They literally just track your application through the process. And it is always still a human recruiter that is making a decision on your resume to move you forward
Yeah.
or to click the little button that says thanks but no thanks, and sends that rejection email. And companies don't spend the money to really build out the backside of that. So definitely focus on applying, but also starting conversations with people that can help fast track you through the process. So no
That's
bamboozling for job seekers. We want to minimize that.
that's I'm about to say that's beautiful because it's intimidating. The
Yes.
ATS is very intimidating. People get so overwhelmed, like, okay, I'm gonna go into the abyss, or like Kiana says, lost in the sauce.
Yeah,
I'm
and
just
just
like,
run away
okay,
from the people that are trying to sell you the ATS cheat codes and
there are no cheat
the
codes, guys.
workarounds that does not exist. Does not
So
exist.
we deep dive a little bit more about candidates who consider doing the cold approach for
Okay.
potential employers or industry leaders, whether through email or social media. What's your take on that? How do you feel about a cold approach?
Cold approach. I mean, listen, I always think a cold approach is really not a cold approach if you do the right amount of research and you try to find a balance of energy. So, whether I'm reaching out to start a conversation or to find out more, I want to always take actions to give to that person in some way or to show that I've put some, you know, interest of them in that currency deposit bank. So that could be in the cold approach and outreach, personalizing the message, making a connection to an alumni group or a mutual cause that we care about. For me, rescuing dogs or just being a crazy dog lady or being a former athlete, loving a certain sports team. I mean, it could be anything
Yep.
because relatability sells. And if you can leverage that relatability in the cold outreach, it becomes so much warmer. So, I always say there's a three-pronged approach. As a recruiter, apply to positions. The second thing is do the outreach to figure out if that's the recruiter that's managing the position. connect with who you think might be the hiring manager or people in that department that you're focused on, and even try to start conversations with people that have the job that you want, or are a couple levels around the job that you want.
Yes.
And those cold outreaches are all about building community, opening the door for informational interviews, which gives you data. And when you have more data about the company, about the job, about the culture, that increases your confidence for when you get that interview. The other thing it does is those people are going to be mentioning your name in those conversations, in those rooms. As a recruiter that's worked agency and corporate, in corporate, I can't tell you how many times a VP or executive director has walked by my desk and handed me a resume and said, this person reached out to me on LinkedIn. They said they applied, for the senior accountant position. You may want to give them a call. That happens. So don't be afraid to put, and you'll appreciate this as a coach, the full court press on particular opportunities if it feels really aligned with what you've done and how you're connected to that company, that brand, and the work that they're doing. So applying, leveraging LinkedIn to start conversations, and then follow up is king. This is an area that I think from a cold outreach standpoint, job seekers give up too quickly. They're like, I don't want to be too much. Well, you know what? If you're not willing to be a little too much, you're going to be at the bottom of the stack. And that's the hard truth. With recruiters, the inbox is busy. We have way more candidates to put our eyeballs on right now. And so you want your name at the top of that inbox. However, you want your ask to not be the same as everyone else's. Every other job seeker that's reaching out to a recruiter specifically is saying, I applied to this job. I want to tell you about my experience and I want some of your time. You see, there's 3 eyes in there. It's all about them, which we know they need a job. Yes, yes, yes.
Absolutely.
But when you're asking for time, that's what everyone else is doing. So one of my suggestions from a way to get a result from a cold outreach, send a message to a recruiter. Hey, Jessica, Anna Morgan, talent manager. I applied to your talent manager position, rec number X. If you want to see a little bit about the success or what my past managers say about working with me, check out the recommendation from, June Calruso on my recommendation center. So on my recommendation section,
Yes.
words are hard for me right now.
Okay. We know what you mean.
Why is that powerful? This is what I'm talking about in regards to like innovative strategies, because the goal is you want the recruiter to look at your profile. And what happens when the recruiter looks at your profile? It increases the chances that they're going to reach out to you and start a conversation. If your ask is not, can we have a quick chat? Can we have a quick chat? Can we have a quick chat? Do you know how many DMs I get of, can we have a quick chat? And my answer is like, no. I don't have time.
You got to position it for them to say, for it to be so hard for a recruiter to be like, nah, I don't really want to talk. Because of course.
Right. And so the whole point is, if the outreach message is personalized, creative, it gives me a little bit of data on who they are, why they're reaching out, but their ask is simple. Like I gave the demonstration of like, hey, if you want to know what it's like to work with me, check out the recommendation from my past manager, and then gets their eyeballs on the profile. And then they're like, holy cow, this is the purple squirrel, amazing unicorn that I've always been looking for. And the energy shifts. You go from knocking on the door saying, look at me, to then them chasing you. The energy completely switches. So there's a lot of moving parts in that, but cold outreach can easily be warmed up with a little research, personalization, and then be cognizant of, have you earned the right to make that ask? And then what other innovative ways could you drive eyeballs to your profile in simple ways that then you have another reason to follow up? Your next follow up could be referencing the position, when you applied. I hope you found my recommendation valuable. If they didn't, go check it out. That'll drive them to that as well.
Yep.
By the way, I have a, new part of my portfolio featured in my featured section, something like that.
There we go. Oh, I love that. And I really love that you mentioned the recommendations. I always try to drill to my clients, get your recommendations up. People read them. They are a valuable asset
Social
to your
proof.
profile.
Mm-hmm.
So if
And
you have
job
to reach
seekers
out,
think about like, you know, I don't want to be like bragging, right? But social proof is a modern day job search strategy. And I
yes,
even like to guide my clients to take one or two sentences or snippets from that recommendation and put it towards the end of their about section,
yeah.
like this is what my managers say about working with me and dot, dot, dot quotes, so that they get a little tease of what it's like to experience you.
Oh, that's a really good one. I'm going to
Thank you.
steal both of those actually.
Anytime.
So, to you, from your recruiter perspective and your recruiter lens, what are some top don'ts as far as approaches go that a candidate should stay far, far, far away from?
Well, I mean, the time one, using the canned message that LinkedIn offers you if you have premium when you apply to a
Mhm.
position, I would definitely customize that and simplify it, because with social media, we generalize and distort content. So, again, our eyes are consuming a lot. Keep it really simple and very clear. Other don'ts, let's see. I mean, just being a spammy job seeker. And, it's like job seekers will see on a recruiter's profile that they're hiring, and they just send the resume with no content of who they are, why they're reaching out, or it's very evident that they did not take the time to look on the profile to see what actual positions I was recruiting for. And that to me just kind of shows attention to detail a
Yeah,
little
no,
bit.
for real.
Like I don't like the term attention to detail, but it's like the thoroughness in regards to um, the strategy behind it. So
Right.
be conscientious of that. I had a bit like an affiliate person reach out to me not long ago that wanted me to, rep a program that like mass applied for job seekers. And I was like, no, as a recruiter, like I don't endorse that, because we have plenty of that already. So yes,
Right.
Jenna, social proof is powerful. And going back to that social proof piece, when I think I'm going to do a whole workshop on this, on how to make an open to work post. But instead
Ooh.
of using that little green section on LinkedIn that says, I'm looking for a senior recruiter, talent manager,
Mhm.
VP of talent role, why don't you take a snippet of your most recent recommendation from your boss and then create a really compelling text post to go with that when you announce that you're open to work?
Oh, that's a good one. Talk about creative. I like that. That's
Yeah,
and if
always.
you do the course, I'd take it.
There you go. As far as other don'ts, I mean, I want to like focus on, I mean, there's so many different things, and you want to be careful about spamming. You want to try to, personalize, just not mass apply. Um, Definitely preparing for interviews. I've had
Yeah.
multiple times where people are like, had evidently done no research and thought the company I was representing was like owned by another company that was actually their direct competitor. And,
Oh shoot.
or they'll get on the phone and they'll be like, what position is this for?
Oh, that's embarrassing. Because then you put yourself, you've kicked yourself out of the running. Because
Well,
you have
and then it's like
that
the psychology
responsibility.
behind it. Like recruiters have to feel confident that if I decide to put you, Jessica, in front of my hiring manager, that you're not going to make me look bad. Every time a recruiter
Yes.
chooses to put you in front of a client or a hiring manager, their reputation, their expertise, their qualifiers of what makes them a good recruiter are
Yeah.
online. And so while a lot of job seekers don't take those first screens with recruiters very seriously, I really encourage them to change that narrative, because those conversations, the rapport building, the trust building, the credibility, the information gathering, that is all what helps us determine mutual fit and next steps in the process.
Okay. So we talk about making sure that we customize our approach, customize our messaging. How would you advise a candidate who is looking to use their personal branding into their job search?
Absolutely great. So, I mean, personal branding in the job search, I think, so I'll share just a little bit of my own experience with this.
Okay.
If you build community in a branding aspect, say just specifically on LinkedIn, you are always going to have career insurance, and you will always have a softer landing pad should a contract end early, should you experience a layoff, should you start experiencing, uh, the vibes that your organization is having some challenges. And you will typically have inbound leads of people that say, hey, and I know you're doing your own thing, but I have this opportunity. Should you be interested? So then you have like that first right of refusal. So, and that could be just being visible on the platform in the form of commenting.
Okay.
That is a completely sustainable strategy, because job seekers get overwhelmed. They're like, I don't know what to post about. And then they share all this like stupid influencer,
Unnecessary stuff. Yeah.
you know, God bless them, but inspirational quotes. And it's like, you would be better off making 5 high quality comments than
Yes.
reposting something that everyone else has posted. And then if you are going to repost something of someone
Mhm.
else's, put your own leadership thought behind it, the story behind it, why you're sharing it. Hi, Timothy. I think that is important. Um, and I just forgot the rest of your question.
No, that's okay. You actually answered the full thing because it's really important for us to empower job snatchers and the career BFFs to feel comfortable and confident to put their voice behind their LinkedIn profile.
Okay, yes. So the balance of the person and the professional.
Yes,
Totally believe in that, because relatability sells, right? You
absolutely.
connect with a brand. For example, like I love when I get an Athleta little catalog mailed to
Yeah,
me. Because why? Because they feature size 14, size 16
yes,
women in, high fashion yoga clothes. And it's like, that is cool. And I would feel comfortable buying from Athleta, right? I mean, I
yeah,
prefer Lulu, but whatever. Um, but the other thing, when you have a community of people that know, like, and trust you, you always have
yep,
opportunities. When I was laid off in 2020, I had inbound job offers, like, didn't
yes.
have to interview, people who said, I saw your announcement that you got laid off. I have a full cycle recruiter position. It's yours if you want it. You
Bam.
cannot put a price on that kind of ROI.
No, that's your branding. Everybody knows you for
Right.
what you do, the impact you make, and the voice you have.
And so then, like, that evolved. It got me hired back. It
Mhm.
elevated my status within new organizations, because
Yep.
they immediately, people would walk by my cube and be like, I love what you're doing on LinkedIn. And so it opened training opportunities for me within organizations. It also saved my job. And here's why. I had gotten hired at an RPO in March. The market started turning in July, and they started laying off. By all reasonable factors, I should have been laid off in June, July. Because of my brand and my side hustle, the CEO knocked on my door and said, you've done a great job for us, but we're having to pull you off this client. We're going to have to lay off more people. I know that you do resume and LinkedIn coaching. Would you be willing to, stay on at your current salary and do outplacement coaching for the people that we're going to have to let go? That's a
Oh,
hard situation to
wow.
manage,
Yeah.
but I was able to keep my role for several months after that. And then I was in control of making the decision of the future of my career. And that is the value of building your thought leadership and your personal brand here, Instagram, Facebook, and how Career BFF came about is just I was like vlogging my life in recruiting at the crazy, silly things that I would see, the goofy email addresses, the crazy stuff of a woman showing up to an interview without her dentures in, and another candidate showing up in a prom dress for an interview. And it was like, and so people just began to one, enjoy the wild and crazy stories of recruiting. And then it evolved into, hey, my sister-in-law is going to be looking for a job. Could you help her with her resume? Or, hey, this. And then when I finally surrendered to, the universe's call to entrepreneurship, it has slowly built since then, but all because of the personal brand. So
yes, because your personal brand, I can't speak either. Your personal brand speaks volumes. Your personal brand, because if I say the Career BFF, they're like, oh, the lady with the cool hair. Yes, absolutely.
Although I'm seeing all these new, good thing that Career BFF is in the process of being trademarked, people, because, there's a few new Career BFFs on Instagram, and there's definitely a couple on TikTok. I need to nail down
your
my
trademark to be nailed.
trademark.
Yeah. And it's quick for people to grab something catchy, but we all know who the original Career BFF is.
I hope so. I hope it's me, but you never know.
You don't, but branding makes me think of you from
Thank
your posts. When I see people talk about their cute dogs, I'm like, nah, Anna has cuter dogs. So it's always keeping you in thought. So make sure you guys take time to create your brand, create your message. What do you want to convey to us? Let us know who you are, what you do. I will always go out with the lady with the crazy hair. Like, I've got big locks, luscious locks.
And it's the little things. And if you think about in all the years that I've worked in recruiting, and we would be sitting around talking about our hot jobs and the candidates that would fit in these hot jobs, 98% of the time, we weren't saying, Timothy, he's got, 10 plus years of healthcare, IT, help desk, and he's recently got a certification. We would talk about him as, someone that was an avid volunteer at this organization, or, was loved to photograph nature, any of those little things that we had picked up through the phone screen. And those are the relatable things that makes it easy for the brain to remember you. And that's why when you're building your brand or you're interviewing, don't be afraid to sprinkle in a little bit of the personal with the professional, because it really helps your story land in the person that makes decisions in service of your future career opportunities.
Oh, Anna, you have dropped some major gems with no punches held. I think that's the right way to say it. If people wanted to work with you, what is the best way for us to reach out to you?
Send me a DM on LinkedIn. Also, up underneath my headline is a book, a Career BFF chat. So I am still offering those. I'm not sure how much longer I will be offering those, but you can book a call with me, get to know each other. I'm exactly like I am online, as you're seeing right here. And I typically do LinkedIn and resume together. A higher ticket VIP accelerator, and then the full Career BFF experience, a 10-week container, mindset, confidence, resume, cover letter, LinkedIn, working with recruiters, deal management, salary negotiation, and more.
That's what I'm talking about. And if you have to leave us with 2 major gems for unconventional job searching strategies for our people, what would you say?
So I want to just kind of build on what we talked about earlier, which is, when you apply, do the research, use the filters on the company page, make sure you're hitting interested in working with this company, because when recruiters are looking at you as a candidate, LinkedIn is telling us if you have company connections, if you have engaged in the brand. Hey, Stacy, so good to see you. If you've engaged with the brand and if you've selected interested in working with you. So that's a big thing. The other thing that I think was a hot topic at the height of the pandemic was video follow up. And if you are connected with someone on LinkedIn, please, please, please use voice notes and the video feature as a way to, follow up, send a creative message to some of your networking prospects to get a result. And then the second thing that I feel is a huge opportunity for job seekers, and everybody talks about it. It's like, go do an informational interview. This is another thing I should probably do a workshop on.
Yes.
The power of an informational interview is so robust. And again, I'm just going to lean into my own experience. When I made my last pivot, I was introduced to the company from a LinkedIn connection. I connected with two people that I didn't know, set up informational interviews with them. And then the one I was referred into, that was a third informational interview, who happened to be the manager that I was going to end up working with. And the reason she picked me was because she had experienced me in that informational capacity. And it literally helped me leapfrog other people that were on the bench and get assigned to a premier account. And so it not only gives you the data if the culture is legit, address any red flags, get an idea of the leadership, the priorities of the work in that area, but then it just elevates your internal brand and can fast track you to being promoted, to doing more special projects, and it just builds credibility on both sides. So I think that would be the second thing. And if you need support on how to execute, one, how to get an informational interview, and then two, how to meaningfully execute that conversation, I'm super happy to walk people through that as well.
That's what I'm talking about. I'm hoping you put that in a course because a lot of us need it. A lot of us don't know how to do it. You froze a little bit. I am going to thank everybody who showed up to our LinkedIn Live. If you have any questions, do not hesitate to schedule with Anna. Reach out to me. It has been amazing talking to everybody. Happy Thursday. Make it the best day yet.